Today, we're going to talk about developing new habits or developing good habits. A few years ago, Dr. Lally, a research scientist from the University College of London, and started a research process. She decided that she wanted to find out how long does it take to develop a new habit. How long does it take? On average, how long does it take to develop new habits? And so she had 96 people that decided that they were going to engage in this research process. Now, this was a 12-week study, and each person was to decide what their new habit was going to be that they were going to test over this 12 weeks. And they every day would report, they'd write it down or report it in to them, whether or not they did that habit that day or not. Now, some of them picked, that they drink a bottle of water with lunch instead of whatever that they had been normally doing. Others may say, well, I'm going to go for a run before dinner. I'm going to walk for 15 minutes after dinner. And all 96 had different habits that they had decided that they wanted to bring into their life for these 12 weeks to decide or to see how long does it take before it becomes automatic. That's what that habit is. It's automatic. How long does it take before a bottle of water is automatically reached for at lunch? How long does it take to automatically get up from the table and go for that 15-minute walk? How long does it take before that decision becomes an automatic response in your life? So I got a question for you that you can share around you. If you're online with us, share with somebody that you're with. If you were one of these 96, what habit would you have chosen to bring into your life for this 12-week study? Share amongst yourselves. Take a second. What habit would you have chosen had you been one of those 96? Some of you are like, I can't think of a habit I want to add to my life right now. So over the course of these 12 weeks, they reported in every day, whether they did it or whether they didn't do it. And what was discovered at the end of this 12 weeks is that it took anywhere from 18 days to 254 days, because they kept going after the 12 weeks until it became natural, automatic. On average, it takes 66 days before something would become a habit in your life. Now, many of us have heard, haven't we? 21 days, start a new habit in 21 days. Not long enough. You know why we fail? Because it takes longer than 21 days. This research showed 66 days for a decision that you make that you want to be a habit, for it to actually become a habit in your life. Well, what does it have to do with today? Well, spiritual habits don't get shortcut on that. You can't just decide on Sunday, man, I'm going to do that, and then have it as an automatic response system in your life tomorrow. We want it to be. We have every intention of whatever decision that you would make on this day or some other day or whenever God has really moved in your heart or life, and you're like, I'm going to do that. That's what I want to do. And then we wonder, well, why is that not happening? Well, because sometimes we think that, hey, I've decided, and we get real spiritual about it. Don't we? Well, I'm going to do this for God. So, Spirit of God, you've got to develop that habit in me. And the Spirit of God's going, I'm trying. You got to help a little. You and I, we have a part to play in this process. We have to set aside time or interest or friendships or other situations or possibly other habits in order for the new habit to take root and to be a part of what's going on. We have a part to play. Oh, and we cry out to God, oh, give me, help me, help me, help me. And He will. But are you giving Him the space to do it too? That's a part of that process that we have to take initiative in as well. We can't just sit back and passively go, hey, God's going to do it. Okay, God can do whatever He wants to do. We all agree on that. He can do whatever He wants, whenever He wants. He's all the omnis, that you've heard over the years. He's all of those things. But if you aren't in agreement with that and you're not providing a space for that, often He doesn't do anything that He could do. He can do anything. He can work a miracle. But are you giving Him the space to do that? You look at the miracles that Jesus did, and somebody was there engaging Jesus, going, I need, I want, I have, all these things. Oftentimes Jesus, he left Nazareth or he left other towns, and what did He say? They have no faith. What was He always astonished by? Oh, you have such great faith. I haven't seen that kind of faith in all of Israel as I see right now. Go. Your servant's healed, He would say to the centurions, helpers. They go back and they add up the time and the date, whatever. Wait, it happened just when He said. That's right. Why? Because faith was shown. There was an engagement in the process. We want good habits. We can identify our bad habits. And we want to put good habits into our life. Or maybe you're a new believer and you want to add good habits, or you're a young believer and you want to add these good habits into my life. How do I go about doing that? We're going to talk about that. How we can incorporate those things. But it does take effort on our part as well. Because I'm not talking about salvation. We can't do anything. God's provided that. But growth, that is on us. Commitment, that is on us. Dedication, that is on us. He will assist us and help us and enable us and equip us to do all these wonderful things. But are we willing to go along with that? It's a very important question that every one of us have to answer in our lives. I want that, but am I willing to pay the cost for it? That's a question, isn't it? So Jesus in Matthew chapter 7 shares what I think are 3 habits that are good for us to build into our lives. So Matthew chapter 7, and we'll begin in verse 7. Matthew 7 through 12 today. Let's read through it, and then we'll go back and talk about it. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door is open. Who among you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask? Therefore, whatever you want others to do for you, do also the same for them. For this is the law and the prophets. So there's 3 things. Very well-known things. Matthew 7:7 is a very well-known verse. Ask, seek, and knock. I mean, these things are very well-known to us. Ask, and it will be given. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened. What does this mean? Well, first of all, the words that are being used in this phrase are something that is akin to keep it going. Keep on doing it. Keep on going along. And you say, no, wait a minute. Now, how does that balance with what Jesus said about prayer over in Matthew chapter 6 just a few weeks ago? How does that balance? Because He said, don't be hypocritical and just babble on and on and on. And He said, don't just have all the things. Don't just babble on and have all these things. And yet now you're saying, keep on asking and keep on seeking and keep on knocking. Well, what does that mean? That's what I'm talking about. There's a sense of effort that we have to put into this process. There's a difference in asking with intent behind it and nagging. Every parent knows the difference. There's a radical difference, isn't there? Those of you that have raised kids, there's a difference, isn't there? There's a difference in them asking, and you can tell, you just know when they're asking with that sense of intent and that proper intent and a proper perspective versus just nagging to see if you will wear down to give the child what they want. Just take somebody under the age of 12 to a toy store. It's easy to tell the difference. You can find the difference. It's not hard. So he says, keep on going. Not in that sense of just randomness, of just throwing a bunch of words out there, but with a full heart of intent. Keep asking. Keep going with that. Well, what are we talking about? Ask and seek and knock. What are these habits that we develop in our lives as a result of these three things? Well, first of all, let's think about asking. Think about what it is when you ask. If you're asking, it's because you need something, isn't it? You need something. That's what you're asking for. I need this. Now, sometimes, again, it's real, sometimes it's a difficult call between what I need and what I want. Those are different. I don't always need the things that I want, but I always want, baby, the things that I need. I don't, everything I ask for, I don't always. I was 8 years old. I was sitting in my bed and I was praying to God. I was a new believer. I didn't know up from down on any of this stuff. And I just, pray to the Lord. Ask, okay. God, I want a helicopter. I'm at 8. We laugh because, at 50, you really shouldn't be doing that. That, you need to think through those. I mean, it's different, right? But you look back and you go, I didn't know anything. God, give me a helicopter. No helicopter showed up. I went to bed the next night. God, give me a helicopter. Bible says ask. So I didn't understand what I want and what I didn't need that. What 8-year-old needs a helicopter to land in their front yard? Nobody. I wanted it, but didn't need it. Now that's a humorous way for us to begin to unpack a little bit about the things that we ask for. Ask for your needs. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. What does that really mean? He provides my needs. He gives me the things that I need. The problem is, in the West, here in America, we have so blurred the lines between those things that oftentimes our wants, we think, are our needs. But they're not. They're wants, they're not needs. So we have to unpack that. We have to unpack some of our own training and thinking about that. What are some things that we could ask for, that I have need for? Not want, but need for. Well, I have a little acronym that you can use, and it's PEERS, P-I-E-R-S, P-I-E-R-S. And that just helps you maybe recall or remember some things to pray for. What are some physical needs? That's the P. What are some physical needs that maybe you need to ask the Lord for? And what I found is that list rises with every year of age. Can I get an amen on that deal? Yeah. That physical need rises every year. Every birthday, you add about 5 more things to that physical needs list. Praise God for being a teenager when you don't need anything physical. In fact, all of us would like to have. Right? I don't want to go back. I want to go back. Physical needs. What are some physical needs that you can pray to the Lord about? We all have some. Maybe it's a health physical need. Maybe it's something else that's related in a physical need. What are some intellectual needs that you have in your life? Have you ever thought about that? What are some intellectual needs that you have? Some things that you need, you're asking God for. Or emotional needs. What are some emotional needs that you have? Some relational needs that you have. Some spiritual needs that you have. When you begin to think about what should I be asking God for, here's just a simple little approach to help you develop this area of your prayer life. I mean, how many times do we go to a time of prayer and, we're like, that 16-year-old who's preaching his first message. They got a list this long and it takes that long to get through it. I remember the first time I preached, man, I had notes galore. And man, I got up and I spat fire and all this other stuff. And I sat down, Dad said, man, that's a great 8 minutes. I'm like, no, it had to be at least 25 minutes, right? He goes, yeah, no. It wasn't. Good job, but 8 minutes. Now, I know some of you are like, man, I wish he could do 8 minutes again. Man, my notes have gotten shorter, but my messages have gotten longer. Explain that to me. I don't understand how that works. But we have these things that we ask God for. We need to be asking God for. He's our answer. He's the provider. He's the sustainer. Ask. And this just kind of helps you understand maybe some things to ask for, to help spend that time with God. Not only asking, but listening to receive answers for. So when you ask for something, it's because you need something. I mean, right? I mean, I need some water. Why? Because you're thirsty. I have a need, I'm thirsty, so I need water. I'm asking for that. Or I'm asking for food, or I'm asking for shelter, or I'm asking for clothing, or I'm asking for health, or I'm asking for a lot of, or in the intellectual side. God, if you're not going to fix me physically, then I need to understand intellectually what's going on. What do I need to do? Or I need to understand spiritually. How am I supposed to trust you more? Is that what you're teaching me in this moment? Because right now, this moment right now, I'm not real happy with it. So I need healing, or I need understanding, or I need spiritual development, but I need something. So God, I'm going to come ask you for that because you're the only one who can provide those answers. Keep on seeking. If you're seeking, why do you seek? Why are you seeking? You've lost something. And you can't find it, so you're seeking for it. You're looking for that. Consider for a moment, what are some things that you are seeking in life? Take a moment around you with somebody next to you or your neighbor and just think about and talk to them about that. Tell them, this is what I've been seeking. This is what I'm looking for this week. This is what I'm seeking. I've lost it. Could be your keys, I don't know. But when we're seeking, it's because we can't find something. So Jesus is saying, ask, and it'll be given. Seek, and you will find. You're going to find it. What am I looking for? Well, maybe you're looking for a friend. You've lost yours and you need a friend. Maybe you're looking for love. And you're trying to figure out all that situation. You're trying to figure out the dating scene. You're trying to figure out romance. You're trying to figure out all those things. And you don't understand it, but you're trying to figure it out. Maybe you're looking for a job. You can't seem to find that either. Or you can't find one that you like or can stomach or you can deal with or you can afford. But you're looking for a job. You're seeking. Maybe you're looking for better benefits. You can't find those either. It's coming up on November, so you're maybe looking for new insurances. You're looking for new systems. Maybe I'm going from Medicare this to Medicaid this. I'm moving, I'm changing. I'm seeking answers that I can't find. We seek a lot of things. Just moved my daughter to college. So now she has this next 4 to 6 weeks where she's going to be seeking a church. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? People moving into our community could be seeking a church. They may not know it yet, but they might be seeking a church. But Jesus promised it. Seek. And you'll find, again, that's a little bit of effort. Keep on doing it. Keep on seeking it. And recognizing that God wants to provide those things. Our needs, not always our wants, but He will provide our needs. But when you're seeking, it's really easy to look for all those answers in all the wrong places. I'm suggesting that when we're seeking these things, that we take it to the Lord in prayer. That we seek these things through a prayer moment with God, through reading His Word and allowing Him to help us uncover, discover, find the answers to these things. Whether it's a job or it's a relationship or it's college or it's benefits or it's insurance or it's a church or whatever it may be that you're seeking. But if you're not seeking anything today, you will be. It's coming. Well, then He says, knock and it'll be open to you. Why do you knock on a door? I mean, have you thought about it? Why do you knock on a door? You want access to whatever's on the other side of that door, right? It may be a person. Hopefully it's that. You're knocking on a door, but if you think theoretically, if you think philosophically, you can have all kinds of things that you're knocking on, and that this metaphor of knocking on a door to gain access to whatever's on the other side of that door is something that we are aware of and we understand. We get that metaphor. We understand that illustration often. We speak in church life, we speak in terms of open doors and closed doors as a way for us to uncover and to think through what is God up to? What is God doing? What does God want me to do? I think that God wants me to go and do this, but wait a minute. There seems to be a closed door I can't get to that. So what do I do? Well, I knock on the door. I knock on the door. And I'm seeking that access. But if God doesn't provide that access, there may be another door that comes to you that God wants you to access. So the idea is keep knocking on the doors. It's not just a singular door that you just beat down until you get through it and go, I got my way. But you knocking on the doors that God provides you ahead of time, it, again, reminds us of our involvement in this process of asking and seeking and knocking. I have a responsibility to that. I need to take care of some of those things I have to do. I can't just sit back and go, hey, well, God's going to do it. Yes, God could do that. But so often, He does it in partnership with your activity. I've told this story before, and it fits again here. I had an individual that came to my office years ago. And he was upset. He didn't have a job, and he needed a job. And I said, hey, I know the manager down at McDonald's, and I have a relationship with them. I could probably get you hired on at McDonald's. And he said, I can't work for McDonald's. I said, have you worked there before? Is there a reason that you can't work at McDonald's? Well, no, they don't pay enough. Okay. Well, I know the manager down at this other store. They pay a little better. I could get you on. No, I can't work there. And again, I'm like, is there a reason that you can't? I mean, he had kind of a storied past a little bit. I'm like, is there a reason that you can't work? No. Why can't you work? Well, they don't pay enough. So I asked him, I said, are you working now? Well, no. How much are you making now? Well, I'm not making anything now. So if I got you a job making $7 an hour or $8 an hour and possibly $10, oh, I can't work for anything less than $15 an hour. Literally, I leaned over my desk and I said, how much are you making now? I'm not making anything now, but I got to have $15 an hour. I can't help you. I wonder how often in our preconceived notions of what the answer is supposed to be, God says, I can't help you. You're not willing to be helped. Amen. I want to help you. I want to give you your needs. I know what you're asking. I want to give you that. I want to help you find that. I want to open that door of opportunity for you, or open the door of wisdom for you. I want to open all that. But you know what? You have such a preconceived idea. How often is it that we go to God with a problem that we've already told him what the solution's supposed to be? And when he doesn't respond in that solution, we're like, God, aren't you listening to me? When the reality ought to be, God should say, are you listening to me? Amen. But see, we have flipped the reality. We have put ourselves with a demigod that we want to operate instead of a holy God that owns our lives. Amen. And we need to get back to the reality that it's not our life. We have been bought with a price by the shed blood of Jesus Christ. Our life is not our own. It has been purchased. It is not ours. It is God's, because we placed our faith in Jesus Christ. So how dare I go to God and say, I demand this? But in essence, if I go to God with a problem or a need, and I'm pre-providing him the solution and just want him to put his holy blessing on it, I have flipped the script on how it's supposed to be. No, my friends. We are to go to God. I have this need. What is your answer to that? God, I've got this problem. What's your solution for this? And as we do that, we begin to come into that proper moment with God, recognizing that he is in control. Ask, and it's going to be given. Seek, and you'll find. Knock, and the door of access is going to be open to you. Because what? Because if we who are evil know how to give good gifts to our kids, don't you think our Father in heaven knows how to do that? I mean, we're not going to give him a stone if he asks for a fish. That was the illustration that Jesus used. We're not going to give him a snake. We know not to do that. I'm just really thankful that you didn't have TikTok back in the day, because they might have done that junk. Amen. Just as a prank. You see what Jesus is saying? We have to learn to trust, and that's one of the 4 words that we learn out of this. 4 words to consider out of this passage and this truth. 1, trust God. Trust God. For somebody in this room, you may not have ever fully and honestly, completely trusted God. You may still be trying to answer all your own problems, handle all your own things, think that you can do enough right to get to heaven and outweigh whatever wrong you've done in your life. And I'm telling you, that's not how it works. The only way for you to have forgiveness over your sin guilt, to have hope of eternity with God, is when I initially and for the first time trust God and say, I can't fix it. Jesus did when he died, was buried, and rose again. So God, I'm asking you, I believe Jesus, I trust you that that's enough. God, I believe, I trust, forgive, and lead my life. For somebody, you may not have ever done that. And today may be your day. And what's stopping you from doing that exactly? For others of us that have had that initial decision, but we have the cares and concerns of life weighing us down, the situations and the problems that are just filling our mind and our heart and giving us such heaviness in our life, we have to learn to trust God and to not try to bear that alone, but to ask and to seek and to knock and say, God, I need your help. I need you. I need you. And trust God. Trust God. The second word is help. To seek help. In developing these habits of ask and seek and knock, we need to realize that we weren't designed to try to do this all by ourselves. We need to find help. Find that small group Bible study to go to and invest your life and invest your time and build relationships and have these friendships that you can walk through life together with. Find that small group. We've got a dozen of them. Find one. Get involved in one. If you want to know more, we'll happily tell you all about them. Or maybe you have a set of friends that you can rely on. They may not all live here. They're scattered out, but they're your friends, and they've walked with you over these years, and you can seek help. Seek help. Don't do this all by yourself. We weren't designed to do it all by ourselves. Look, apart from the fact that he's a guy, Adam had all the right things in all the right places and all the right things, and yet God said it's not good that he's alone. I mean, he had a perfect environment, a perfect setup, a perfect job, a perfect everything, but he was alone, and God said it's not good that he's alone. We were built for relationships. Amen. Seek the help that you need. You're not less than because you can't handle it. You're not less than because you need somebody to give you a help up. You're not less than because you can't handle the grief all by yourself, or you can't handle the loss all by yourself, or you can't handle life all by yourself. You're not less than. Stop believing what the world is selling you and start believing what Jesus already told you. I will be with you always to the end of the earth. And yet he still put people together. He had Paul and Silas and Timothy and Barnabas, and he had Apollos and he had Aquila and Priscilla. He put all these people together. He sent the 12 disciples out and matched them 2 by 2. Why? Because we're not designed to go through it alone. Amen. Get the help you need. It's okay. Stop fighting it. Maybe you need therapeutical help. Get it. Maybe you need medical help. Get it. Amen. Stop trying to say, oh, I'm okay. You're probably not. Go get the help you need. Or maybe you just need to talk it out with somebody. You know, it's amazing how God made some people as listeners and some people as talkers. And some people have to talk things out. My staff laugh at me all the time because I can't help but get in front of the whiteboard and draw something on the board. In staff. Why? Because I got to talk it all out, and I got to draw it out, and I got to make this connection and that connection. Does that look good? Oh, yeah, okay, let's go to here. Well, what do you think about this? I'm a talker. I have to talk it out. Sometimes that gets Keith and I in trouble because we both have to talk it out sometimes. Yeah, stop laughing. But get the help that you need. Third word to consider today, grace. Grace. Not only the grace that God gives us in Jesus, you need that for sure, but give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. You know, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s diet system. Mom and Dad would go on a diet, so I was on a diet. And Mom and Dad, I remember, went on this thing called the Brussels sprouts diet. I lost so much weight on that diet because I won't eat them. They're nasty creations, I tell you. And I think it's roach food because those things are about the same level of interest to me. I don't like them. But greatest thing ever. Cheat days. Man, Those are awesome. They don't really help you, but they're awesome. But the point is, look, give yourself some grace. You're going to mess up sometimes. Don't throw away all that you've done because you messed up once. Look at all that you've been doing. You have been working 10, 15, 20 days, 30 days on this habit. And you know what? You messed up once. So what? Get back up and get going the next day. Give yourself some grace. Because we're not perfect. We're not God. We're going to fail. Give yourself some grace in that, and finally give yourself some time. Recognize that a decision today is not a habit tomorrow. A decision today means another decision tomorrow, and another decision the next day. And on average, it's going to take a decision today and 65 more of those before it becomes a habit in your life. So ask and seek and knock. What is it that you need to do with that today?